Rightio. That should just be about to start. Okay. Cool. We're live. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Josh, and this is the Arcane Forge, a channel where I tend to draw a lot of monsters and talk a lot about lore and mythology, and I turn that into stuff that you can use for your D&D campaigns. Today, we are going to be illustrating a Cryptid Hunter's Arsenal. I'm going to try and do several things if I can, but at the very least, you're going to have a say. I need your help, basically, to work on some items that would help you either hunt or replicate the powers of, or, you know, sort of capture images of various cryptids. As this whole month, I've been doing something called Cryptober to make the channel extra spooky in advance of Halloween, which has been going pretty nicely. We've had Mothman so far, and the Loch Ness Monster was this Monday's video. Traditionally, I have my wife sitting just over here, and she reads your comments and kind of tells me what you guys are talking about, so that you can contribute to the drawings that I'm going to be doing and what things are going to be like and all this kind of stuff. But she's a tiny bit delayed today, unfortunately. She's been out helping a friend who's been getting a puppy. So she had to drive this friend to where this puppy is located. And I mean, traffic is bad and all this kind of stuff, but also apparently this puppy was very not used to being in a car and has kind of thrown up all over the place, and just a whole bunch of stuff has happened. So she's a little bit late. She's on her way back, so hopefully she'll be here soon, and we'll join the stream at some point. Myrtle, my little French bulldog, is sitting right down here, so hopefully, hopefully you'll hear some snuffling and grumbling and snoring and so on. But to kind of fill in as best as I can, I have my phone here, which is running the stream, so hopefully I can see some of your comments. There's a bit of a delay, and there may even be more of a delay than usual, because usually Yvonne has it's like 30 seconds or maybe more between what she can see and what she can relay to me. But we're going to do our best, at least until she arrives, to chat. I can see a few of you are here. I can see we've got Bolt saying hi, how's it going, everybody? We've got Steve Harrison, Jonathan Foster, we've got Ollie, Guitar Repairs, Ollie and Leo. We've got Yorick, we've got Emilio Garcia, who I think you might be new, or at least I don't recognise your name. Good to see you. Loads and loads of people have turned up. My goodness. Okay, right. Last Biscuit Corn, True Mate, tons of you. Nikolai. I'm never quite sure if it's Nikolai or Nikolai, by the way. Let me know how you pronounce your name, because I'd like to get it right. You comment a lot, and I'd like to, make sure that I'm not just massively butchering your name whenever you say it. But yeah, so today I thought we could create at least one, but a few, if we have time, items that will be useful for tracking down, hunting, capturing, surviving a cryptid attack, or either that or something that would allow you to replicate some of the abilities of a cryptid. So, that might be, we're not going to do this because it's kind of too simple, but like if you could wear a set of black wings that would let you fly like Mothman, that kind of thing. So I kind of want to know, you go by the name Gabriel? Nikolai is saying they go by Gabriel. I can call you Gabriel. I will do my best to remember. But yeah, good to see you. That's very different pronunciation. So, hey Moonring. So, first off, answer me this. Are we making just the first item? If there's more than one, we can do several. But just the first item, do you want to make an item that would allow you to hunt, capture, survive, whatever, a cryptid? Or do you want to make something that allows you to perform actions like a cryptid in-game? whether that's like giant feet like Bigfoot or something, I don't know, something that causes a fear aura like Mothman, or something that lets you mystify people. Maybe you're just really bad, like people can't take photographs of you. So I am going to see if I can make a little poll. Actually, you know what? I'll wait for your comments, because I think I can see that quite easily here. Yorick is saying a hunting item, something to hunt things down. That's certainly more in the realms of D&D. The hope is that by the end of this you'll have an illustrated item, we can talk about it, and I'm going to put all these things on my website. I've been saying that for a long time about a lot of the things that we've talked about on these live streams, but I am going to. It's been a busy couple of months, but I'm hoping at least by the end of October, going into November, I'm going to go back and listen to a bunch of these live streams and kind of put everything up on my website that we've been doing during these live streams. So hopefully there will be exactly Bigfoot boots, Bigfoot Ugg boots. Oh my god, that's a fantastic idea, true mate. I love that. But yeah, they just give you +1 coziness, I guess. But yeah, hopefully there'll be something that you guys can use as well tangibly in your games. Okay, so I've got 2 calls for a hunting type item. Hunt for the knot deer. Yes, got the knot deer coming up very soon. I'm really excited for that one. Yvonne actually edited that video and audio, and she's been using much more complicated software than I'm used to. I just use Audacity for my kind of like audio editing to make the levels sound good, and then I use iMovie just to compile all my clips and stuff. So hers actually genuinely looks good as well. I'm excited about this, because she's been using some of the Adobe software that I tried to learn, but it's just you know how it is, like Photoshop, Illustrator, all this kind of stuff. It's, if you have time to just play around with it organically, you can learn it. If you are trying to learn it and it's like your job depends on it, it's just like really hard to try and learn when you have a product that you need to make anyway. It's kind of a catch-22 that you have to pay a subscription fee in order to learn how to use something that you can then try and make money with. So, but she's been learning it anyway, and she's edited the. That's my front door. Right, give me 2 seconds. I'm going to go see who that is. I'll be right back. Sorry about that, guys. There's Amazon who have delivered very, very sorely needed external hard drives, because I'm running out of space on my computer with all these. So, right, what have we got? We have acting like a cryptid does sound very enticing. Got hunting, acting like, Mothman cape sounds very cool. Acting like a cryptid seems like give you the power of cryptids. Dreammate says why not both. Emilio, not a puppy. No, unfortunately. I mean, well, kind of fortunately, we have enough dog to go around with Myrtle. What else have we got? That's exactly why I've already got into Photoshop, even though I'd use it like the clappers. The price tag is out of my reach. Very true, Steve. Unless you are already earning money from it, there's very little reason to justify it unless you were to commandeer some of the software, which I cannot, obviously recommend, but I've heard a lot of good things about Clip Studio Paint and things like that if you're into the kind of line work style comic book art. That's apparently a lot cheaper and a single purchase. We've got... what else? Okay, I think we've got a lot of people who are asking for... We've got a few people who are asking for something to hunt, and a few things that are acting like to kind of like act and live and operate like a cryptid, give you the powers of certain cryptids. So I think there are more people, judging purely by the looks here, that want something that acts like a cryptid to start off with. We can always go back and do something that allows you to hunt a cryptid. So if we say we're going to do something that allows you to act like a cryptid, because I'm seeing a lot of stuff like what was that name again, Josh? Sorry, I'm a little bit all over the place, if you can't tell. Steve Harrison says, what was that name again, Josh? Sorry to crash the chat like this. Clip Studio Paint. There is an artist who I follow the streams of. She's really, really lovely. Good to chat to as well, who has done a few bits of art for Dungeons and Dragons in the... I'm trying to think of the supplement that she worked on. It's like almost exclusively her artwork. God. Acquisitions Incorporated, that's the one. So if you like the kind of style of artwork in that, very line work based, very comic booky, Clip Studio Paint's what you should look for. A lot more professionals are kind of leaning towards that now, mostly because of Adobe's sort of like archaic, you never really own the software that you have kind of attitude, and it's apparently a lot easier to use. I would switch over, for example, now if I hadn't already laid the groundwork of learning Adobe. And thankfully, patrons, you guys, helped me to pay the bill for having the Adobe suite. So those are good circumstances to have Photoshop, so I thank you for that. Oh, hello, Baby George, as well. Ollie says Baby George has joined us. Just woke up and hopefully I've not missed anything. Don't worry, Nico, you've not missed much. We are doing a Cryptid Hunters Arsenal, and I'm asking the questions on screen basically to the group. So if you want to think ahead of time, feel free to look at the aforementioned questions here. The group, generally speaking, are pretty divided, but are leaning more towards an item that might allow you to behave like or act like a creature, a cryptid, have some of their powers. Like we're talking about, like a Mothman cape that would allow you to fly. I think someone said, Jonathan Foster said, Mothman glasses that let you change dice rolls like a spell, which I like the idea of. It's a good way to have kind of lucky and things like that. So it sounds, I'm getting a lot of kind of like armor items through the descriptions here. And by armor, I don't necessarily mean a suit of armor. That would probably take the entire stream to draw, which I'm totally fine to do if you would so like that. But I'm hearing a lot of things like goggles, glasses, capes, wings, boots and things like that. I class that as armor, whether or not it's, a suit of armor in D&D. So next up, are we making a weapon, a piece of armor, like an item of clothing, let's say, or some sort of tool or device that would allow you to mimic a cryptid? I want to know from you guys. Oh, that's an interesting idea. Nico says 895 Ace says so something like a transformation for a limited time period. I really like that idea. Definitely, I really like one of my favorite things that I've ever played in general. I used to be a huge World of Warcraft fan before all the recent controversy, and I loved Demon Hunters, mostly because, you know, obviously edgy, kind of dark and gritty characters, but I've loved the Warcraft lore for a long time, and they're very entrenched in that. But they have an ability where they can, for a short period of time, transform into a literal demon, improving all of their abilities. Very like a barbarian's rage, and so maybe something that transforms you for a limited time is a good idea. We have Emiliano. Sorry, I've been saying your name wrong. Emiliano said Bigfoot being naturally blurry. I really like the idea of whether or not it's just like the blur feature, like Displacer Beast, you know, or if it's just like you just can't take images of them and things like that. That's really cool. Moonring, thank you so much for the super chat, for the donation. I said, by the way, how excited are you for the auto gnome? Incredibly not excited, Moonring, as I think you know, my gnome hatred has reared its ugly head once again with the introduction of the auto gnome. However, what I am absolutely bloody ecstatic for is the fact that all of the recent unearthed arcana races are a part of Spelljammer, which is my absolute favourite thing that D&D has ever done. Spelljammer is definitely coming. Spelljammer is 100% coming to D&D 5th edition. Finally, I'm so excited for that. I just want to play Treasure Planet. Let me play Treasure Planet. And now they've let Amoeba people into it, and the 3 Kreen are going to be in there, and we've got Star Elves. You know how I love elves, so yes, very excited. Very, very excited. Leo says a big sword, and George says an undecipherable non-sword based thing, but it sounds, there's a wah and a blurp involved in that, so that sounds like a hitting item. 895 Ace Nico says something with claw weapons like the Wendigo is very cool. We've got a call for armor from ES Laval. Steve Harrison says, how about something that can be used during stealth that can zap anyone who spots the sneaker with something like hypnotic pattern, but like how some cryptids are said to have a sort of entrance the observer. Interesting. You also like the blur feature. What else have we got? Oh, good, Emiliano. I've got your name right, thankfully. Bigfoot never found due to it being a transformation tool. Interesting. That's a cool idea. I guess Bigfoot would be kind of like a Displacer Beast. Yeah, for sure. Lots of you joining me in the Spelljammer love. Absolutely. Cannot wait for that. Yes, who doesn't want to be Jim Hawkins on a sky surfboard, I ask you. I definitely think we've got a rogue or a bard. I'm not sure how we would make Jim Hawkins, but I'm playing that character 100%. We've got Bigfoot camo or blood. Right, so I'm getting a lot of the Flatwoods monster. Okay, I'm getting a lot of kind of like armor things is what I'm seeing. You guys want to like embody this creature either through its weapons or through its armor. But let's start with some armor. And it's kind of 50-50 between weapons and armor. So I'm gonna say armor first, but like weapons as well. Maybe we could do things like I'm seeing Nico was saying things like Wendigo claws that have a bleed effect, which sounds really cool, and things like that. So astral elves and star elves are different. I'm sorry, Moonring, I had no idea. But I'm excited about both, if it helps. So I'm gonna say armor first, and then weapon as like a secondary thing here. And you know what? We don't need to answer that next question because you guys are already coming up with amazing ideas of what we're going to do next. So we are going to do something that lets you behave like a cryptid, and lets you, it's something that you can wear and embody and things like that, right? I'm going to take this cardigan off because with all these studio lights on, it's suddenly getting incredibly hot in here. So, let's see what we've got here. Are we making... I've seen a lot of things like a cloak. I think I'm getting cloak vibes. Bigfoot ghillie suit sounds very, very cool. Okay, maybe it is a bit more like a suit of armor. So let's go for that. Let's see what we can do. I'll draw like the basis of a human figure here that can either be wearing this armor or cloak or something along those lines. What cryptid are we hoping to replicate, or are we making something that does something that all cryptids do, like being hard to visually record, you know? Going for the standard stock human, something I generally don't tend to draw, I guess. So we've got Dave, the unrecognizable, coming up. I want to know who, what sort of cryptid we should inspire this by, and what it should sort of do. Because what it can do, weirdly, is going to be indicative of what it looks like, which is not something we normally do. We normally get to talk about what something does once we already have a firm enough idea of what we're creating, but not this time. So I'm just going to make our little outline of a person here. Let's see what we come up with. You know what, I can use this stock person, and then if we make like a cloak of something and some gloves of something, I can put it just on top of this. They can be wearing a whole arsenal all at once, let's say. So let's see what we can come up with. I'll make sure to have one hand out here if we make a weapon of some description as well. That is more conventional, like a sword or something. But yeah, I think I've just taken off my cardigan, and now my arms are absolutely freezing. Now that I've done that, never the right temperature, is it? I always find that moving from the kitchen through to the living room, when the oven's been on, it's nice and warm, and then you need to go and put something warm on as soon as you go and sit down to dinner. Okay, it's roughly a human shape. Right, so what are we making? Jersey Devil. I love a Jersey Devil. I really wanted to draw that this year, but unfortunately it wasn't picked, wasn't popular enough. But maybe. We've got another live stream later on in the month on the 27th that's going to be creating a cryptid. I'm not sure yet whether it's going to be a cryptid an existing cryptid where we illustrate one that didn't make it through to the kind of video format, or if we're going to be making our own cryptid. Like, what could that be? What kind of half visible creature are we going to be creating? Let's have a look at your comments here though. Weirdly, I would like to see some biting item like vampire teeth that gives health back. That would be very cool. Maybe like the claws, or like the jaw of the chupacabra or something like that allows you to draw health from your enemies. Have you heard the tale of the cryptid El Siban? No, I do not know it, hence why I'm probably butchering the pronunciation there. Steve Harrison says, I'm still liking all the Bigfoot ideas for myself. Stuff that makes people doubt themselves as to what they saw. Very true. More people talking about the Flatwoods monster for a weapon with the gas or fog that it makes dealing poison damage. John Foster says, doubting your existence makes it difficult to flex your reputation. Very true. Not an issue for rogues, as I think you pointed out in the past, or some people have pointed out in this comment section already. But yes, absolutely, it does for sure cause issues if you want to be the big I am around town. Emiliano says, if there was a Mothman wingsuit, it could also transform you into shadow stuff too. Teleport through shadows. I love it. Absolutely. Gabriel. I'm trying to remember. Gabriel says, Bunyip necklace. If you have this item, you can use the effects of the change shape spell, and you can polymorph into 10 types of monstrosities chosen during the creation of this item. That's very cool. Jonathan Foster, it snowed in your state last night. Welcome to yeah, it's getting into autumn time. Congrats, I guess. Bigfoot Ghillie Suit is genius. Give it Forest Walk, so now it just perfectly blends in. I love it. Skunk Ape Suit, similar sort of ideas here. Flatwoods Monster Cape from Yorick there. Leo said it should be like a mimic suit. That's a very cool idea. Moonring has chimed in with another very generous donation, saying, could we do a gnome cryptid? You can do a gnome cryptid. I'm not doing a gnome cryptid. But I appreciate it. I appreciate the gesture either way. Chupacabra armor with jaw lifesteal options from True-Mate. I'm liking these ideas a lot. Crypto gnome. Steve, stop encouraging Moonring. Stop it. Happy Wednesday from New York, from Miles there. Welcome. Thank you very much. 895 Ace Nico says he's known as the Whistler, and anyone who hears his whistles needs to run away quickly because he kills. He also carries a bag of his victim's bones across his back. Look it up, it's a great story. That sounds absolutely amazing. I definitely will. Unfortunately, this is one of the times that's really frustrating, because if Yvonne was here, she'd be reading out your questions, and I could look stuff up on my phone while I'm talking to you guys, but I can't look up stuff right now, unfortunately. Look, I'm seeing the amount of gnome that's in the comment section. I'm going to tell you all to stop it right now. All right, I can turn this stream around. All right, we can all go home. We don't have to go to Disneyland. We can all go home if we're getting too much gnome in this stream. All right, warning. All right, right. Okay, so I'm getting two things. A Bigfoot Ghillie Suit is very high on the priorities. / things about what was it? Skunk ape and other sort of ape-like things. And I'm really liking the idea of the Chupacabra jaw thing. So I'm thinking like a kind of Ghillie Suit. I'm hoping I know what a Ghillie Suit actually is. Like I kind of do. I have an image in my head, but I don't know if it's actually what it is. So I'm gonna have to nip off the comment section for just 1 second and make sure I know what that is. Suit. It is what I thought it was. Right, okay, good. The issue is, how on earth do we make that look like anything that's not just fluff? So I reckon if we make that into a kind of cloak that you can kind of wrap around yourself, maybe, so it could cover your whole body, but it's not just otherwise complete fluff. Then we can work with that. I would reckon. So let's go with yes, net camouflage. Basically, it's fluff and camouflage and greens essentially. So let's go for. go for the Bigfoot suit. Bigfoot suit sketch. We can call it something fun and better than that when we have time. So I'm going to leave room on the face here for a kind of jaw-like item, and otherwise I think we should start making a kind of... What am I thinking here? I'm guessing I'm kind of thinking... like a kind of poncho almost, like a ghillie suit poncho thing, that maybe you activate it and it allows you to have this difficult to witness effect. How are you guys feeling about that? Or what do you think this thing should be able to do if we make this ghillie suit first? And what sort of Bigfoot-like features should we have on it? Because I think, obviously, hood that you can put up, like that's the activation, as it were. When the hood's up, then you have this like blur effect or really difficult to see effect. Does it give you the strength of a Yeti? Does it give you resistance to kind of frost stuff? I suppose that is more leading down the whole Yeti abominable snowman type deal. But yeah, tell me about it. What do we have here? What else is going on with this cloak or poncho or kind of ghillie suit like item? I want to know. I'm not drawing a poncho, I'm drawing a cape. But yeah, let's you know what, we can turn it into a poncho still. I think at least by bringing that down. It just has to do that, doesn't it? There we go. It's going to be very furry. Okay, let's see what we've got here. I think the ghillie suit is like a net with camouflage on it is where I was last at. There was a legendary weapon that was just a jawbone. It was really brutal to think about. Absolutely, yeah, that definitely sounds like it. I think like a dragon's jawbone or something along those lines would be a really cool weapon. Maybe it's composed of different parts of cryptids and each part contradicts the other, so it makes it so that your eyes don't want to look at it. That's a really cool idea. And the teeth turn into things too. This is talking about the sword. A heavy cape, almost like a poncho. Yeah, totally where we're at. Gabriel says hydrous meat. If you consume this meat the next day, you gain the ability to devour a creature that swallowed you alive nearly in an hour if you are covered in mud. It must be made of faux fur, right? Of course, Last Biscuit Corn, of course. Because we're all vegans here. Yeah. Faux fur. Oh, maybe, I don't know. I don't know how this thing was created, but I'm thinking this is going to be faux fur. Something that mimics the effects of being a Bigfoot without necessarily actually being Bigfoot. Let's not be cruel here. I feel like the suit, cloak, poncho, I think it would act like a fear effect, a strength increase, or an enlarge, reduce. I love that idea, having lots of different attitudes to it. And it also ties back, Nico, to your idea of having something that you kind of transform into as well, which is pretty cool. Is the Bigfoot suit Bigfoot cruelty free? Yes, yeah, we're having a lot of talk about this. I think definitely Bigfoot is too gentle for us to have skinned him and turned him into something for sure. So this is going to be something that mimics a cryptid's ability without necessarily being made of cryptid, for sure. For the Bigfoot, you can say instead of blur, you could say mist. Yeah, for sure. You could indeed. Man, that's the effect sorted. It casts blur on you. Maybe you can also use it to cast Pass Without Trace. Definitely, 1000%. I feel like Pass Without Trace is one of those things that, as a player, it's worth it being at a high level, because otherwise the DM could just use it and yada yada yada. You just never get anything done. But I'm quite happy to dole out items that just give people pass without trace. Because if there's not a rogue in the party, that is, this is a very conditional kind of deal. But if there's not a rogue in the party, and you, again, the same thing always goes with magic items. As long as you know your party and you know who's going to abuse things, and if they're going to abuse things, then, whatever. But if you've got the right player group, giving pass without trace as like a permanent feature is something that I would quite happily give this item, because they're hard to track. George Punton, hi, how you doing? Good to see you. Is the special ability of the poncho that you can't be unhappy while wearing it? Who can be unhappy while wearing a poncho, I ask you? -3 resistance to physical damage, and once per day you can also succeed on a stealth check. Maybe that's reference to a different edition, because you'd want to be more resistant, surely. Yorick says, what cryptid would you have as a familiar? Tiny bit off topic, I guess, but I'm in Scotland, it's got to be Nessie. I'd love Nessie as a familiar, although a pretty massive familiar, and I'd have to stay very close to water. Maybe not a good call. The cloak being Bigfoot was a crazy plot twist, like a mask that transformed you. Yeah. Yes, no gnomes were harmed in the making of these magic items. No, this is all made out of gnome meat, every single one. Trashy Worm says +1 to checks on ripping of people's arms. Wait, wrong big fluffy monster. Mothman arm braces while using it allow you to transform your arm into moth wings. That's a really cool idea. Oh, interesting one. Jonathan Foster says the cloak transforms you, and eventually that's how a Bigfoot race propagates. So maybe it's cursed, and you do eventually, by wearing it too much, literally turn into a Yeti or a Bigfoot. And I've just realised, like, this is one of the things. This is usually why it's good to have everyone here. I mean, for so many reasons, but also the fact that I don't get distracted by just reading your comments and not, actually drawing, because you guys have come to see drawing, and it's lovely to chat to you, but I'm not doing any drawing. So right, I'm gonna draw, and then I'll come back to your comments in a second. Do we want a clasp or something? I think we want a clasp. I like the idea of having a little bit of shoulder armor, kind of like peering through here. And I mean, it's gonna just be basically furry, isn't it? It's gonna be a little fluffy coat that transforms into something Yeti adjacent when you wear it. It's going to be nice and simple and not too complicated, I reckon. So why don't I get on that? We can do a tiny bit of line work here, and what this thing's going to look like, and actually save it. But I'm liking the idea of it very much. Let's go for this. I've got that set to overlay, which we don't want yet. Can make a little fluffy coat. It's going to be nice. I want this already. I think this would be a nice thing to wear, especially if it's faux fur. Magically conjured fur would be nice. Or maybe Bigfoot's just shed a lot. Could be just like picked up off the ground, but then with that whole pass without trace thing, how are you gonna pick it up? Because that's definitely what's going on with a Bigfoot. Blur and pass without trace. This is going to be a really good item for a kind of like Nordic, Frosthaven's the wrong thing. What's it called? The expansion, the Rime of the Frost Maiden set in what location? I can't remember. But the Frozen North. Anyway, it's going to be a good item for a rogue or some other light armor user in that kind of environment. For sure. excited about this. And I like the other ideas that you guys are coming up with as well. There's a lot of really cool magic items. I actually just heard Yvonne arrive home, which is very nice. I'll say hi to her in just a second when she comes upstairs. No, I didn't mean to do that. This is one of those things it's going to be really hard to tell what bit of line work I've covered and what bit I've not. Woof! Myrtle scared the absolute bejesus out of me. She's a good little guard dog. Hey, how you doing?
Oh my god, hello.
Yeah. Have you had dinner?
No.
Right. I've left some dinner down in the downstairs if you want to have some food before we start. And we're quite happily chatting away. There's no rush.
It's okay. I'm
You sure?
joining.
Yeah. Okay. How was puppy time? I've been telling you about puppies.
Well, I didn't get too much puppy time because we're going to basically the bottom of Scotland and the other side of Scotland.
Right.
So I've done a lot of driving. I kind of, oh yeah, he's cute, right? Get him in the car, turn back round.
Oh, well, thank you for rushing home. I appreciate it.
That's alright.
It's good to see you.
Did get vomited on twice.
You got vomited on twice?
By the other dog. So
By the other dog? I thought it was the puppy that was vomiting on you.
No, it was the big one.
Oh no, that's so much worse. So to catch you up, we're making a few cryptid based magic items.
Yeah.
First of which is a kind of ghillie suit meets poncho that is made out of faux fur, obviously. That allows you to do certain Bigfoot related activities, like having a pass without trace so that no one can take a good photo of you and detect you and stuff. And also cast things like blur on yourself, so you're again hard to detect and hard to visually see and things like that. But there's been talk of like a Chupacabra mouthpiece so that you can do a bite attack and heal from damage and stuff. But I'll let you get settled while I do a bit more drawing and we can kind of carry on.
Well, hello to everyone that's saying hello. Hi to Leo as well. Did you not just say the phrase meat poncho?
Thankfully, I've not said meat poncho. I'm wondering who we've missed in the comment section who said meat poncho.
Yeah, the other dog's fine. It was just very excited about getting in a car, and then it was the twistiest, turniest road in Scotland, and it was super bumpy. There was lots of potholes, so the poor thing was getting jogged around a whole lot. Meanwhile, my friend's daughter was sitting in the back drawing the entire time, which is a skill to draw while you're moving on a twisty road.
Yeah,
and
goodness.
not be sick yourself. So.
Wow, that's pretty impressive, actually. I don't think I could do it.
All good. I mean, I was wondering what I was going to miss in the first half hour, 40 minutes, and it's not looking as horrific as...
yeah, it's just for
maybe
you.
It's my presence that brings out the horrifying. Myrtle, stop sniffing me.
He's ordering in the comments. Like we've got some Myrtle grumbling going on for sure. But yeah, there's been all sorts, including the fact, like we've discussed this before, whether it's Nicolay or Nikolai or Nicola and stuff like that. They have asked to be called Gabriel. So, which is very far from what I was pronouncing it and things like that. So, I mean, Gabriel is their name.
Gabriel, you might need to remind me of that.
Yeah, I've been catching myself a few times as well.
Of course.
Yeah.
Call anyone whatever they want.
Yeah.
Leo's off to bed, so he's saying good night. Good night,
thank
Leo.
you so much. I think Ollie might be sticking around. I'm not entirely sure, but thank you so much, Leo, for being here. We've had family activity time. Been watching some Arcane Forge stuff. But yeah, it's been very weird reading all the comments and stuff. I've been finding myself getting very distracted reading comments and not actually doing any drawing. It's been alright. I think so. I think it's been okay. We got a lot of chat done, and I didn't do as much drawing as I'd hoped, but it's been good chat. So as long as
a fair amount of drawing.
Yeah.
You know, it's
As
not
long
too
as
bad for drawing and
yeah.
reading at the same time.
I mean, as long as you guys aren't bored, then I'm doing a good job. That's the important part. But it's been good.
I did manage to pick you up some Moffat toffee, which turns out to be vegan after all.
Very excited. For those who are unaware of the specialness of Moffat toffee, do you want to describe it?
It's a weird, hard Scottish toffee. It's more like a boiled sweet. It's sweet on the outside and then sort of vinegary in the inside, quite sour.
Right.
I bought you the tin, but you can buy it in a slab, which comes with a little hammer.
Ooh.
That you can smash it up yourself.
That sounds very cute.
But
vinegary does not sound great, I'll be honest.
It's probably not what you're thinking of when you're thinking of toffee.
Okay. I'm very excited.
But apparently they only make it in Moffat.
Well, there you go. There's that.
Emiliano says, if the poncho was cursed, say it gives you hermit tendencies or a form of paranoia.
Oh yeah, okay,
you can't
yeah.
see the thing that smells.
Interesting. Yeah, that's a really interesting idea. So it's cursed to make you live out the life of the Bigfoot, I guess, kind of be a bit more of a pariah and spend time outdoors. So ideal for a ranger, but not for many other people.
Yeah, Steve's got it. My dad used to make that sort of stuff at home. It was a fair tooth puller. Yeah.
Oh, really?
You have to. I've got fixed braces, so I have to go very careful when I eat that stuff.
Oh.
Jonathan Foster says, I had to step away and deal with inverted commas work.
I see.
Just to come back in time for meat poncho to be a thing.
yeah. It's a special kind of audience we've got here.
So, was there much debate on whether it should be a Bigfoot themed thing, or
there's been a lot of different ideas, but there was enough people kind of saying Bigfoot, Yeti, Skunk Ape, which are all kind of roughly the same, but in different locations around the world, that I was like, it's a big ape thing. We're going for a warm, cozy thing. And I think it was Jonathan Foster who initially suggested a ghillie suit. Which I was like, ghillie suit, that's just me drawing a hairy man, essentially. So I thought poncho, cape came up a lot in the suggestion. So we'd made a kind of an activatable item that is Bigfoot related, that allows you to be difficult to see, difficult to track, and loving some of the curses that you guys are coming up with in regards to making it something that kind of curses you to live the life as well of the Bigfoot.
Peter Majeeper says, crap, how late am I? Don't worry about it, I've only just arrived myself.
Yeah, don't worry, we're just not exactly getting started, but we're there's going to be more than one item tonight, I think. Cool. So
Droommate says +5 stealth, -5 all charisma checks because it smells a bit. Cursed item sounds funny, trying to get the rogue to take off. But it gives you so much stealth bonuses. Sorry.
Yes.
Excuse me.
Have some water.
Don't worry, it's not COVID.
I hope not.
The Whistler hat, you're forced to whistle, but anyone who can hear it can't tell if you're close or far away, says Captain Dutchman.
Yeah, someone was talking about a whistler of some description.
Yorick says maybe as a side effect it could attract
Chupacabra
or Yetis.
Oh, interesting idea, yeah. Maybe it makes you better at tracking them down in that case.
And Minring says, hey, did you hear about the auto gnome?
Yes, we've talked about the auto gnome. We've had our whole gnome chat in relation to the new updated Unearthed Arcana with lots of very, very fun races, including auto gnomes who are forever banned from my table.
I don't know if Moonring's asking what my name is or if someone else in the chat, but my name is Yvonne.
Sorry, yes, I should have said that. If you're unfamiliar, Yvonne is my wife. She'll be reading out your questions now, so I no longer need to be sort of double screening and finding it very difficult to read your comments and chat to you at the same time. So that's a good one.
Peeper, my Jeeper, it's in what we've got so far. I love the fluffy design of the armour, but I am incredibly confused. So
Yes.
you recap.
No worries. So what we've got is a Bigfoot, Yeti, skunk ape, whatever you want to call it, themed item of clothing that a user can don in order to gain the abilities, the supernatural powers of a Bigfoot type creature. Someone at one point suggested Bigfoot Ugg boots, which would have been absolutely fantastic. But these are a sort of faux fur poncho that you basically get a kind of pass without trace effect at all times, I believe. I can't remember how overpowered that might be, but let's go with it. And then you can activate it, and it kind of grows into this ghillie suit all over your body, and you gain the blur effect because, again, like Bigfoot's really hard to get. It's really hard to get pictures of Bigfoot, and he leaves almost no evidence behind. So that seems like a very fitting thing for a Bigfoot garb, Bigfoot poncho type thing, which I will stick on my website. But this is really coming along at quite a pace.
Trimmate says, love the wood-like shoulder pads.
Thank you very much. I thought sort of a rustic kind of Yeti coat. We know very little about about Bigfoot except for the fact that he tends to like the Smoky Mountains and all this kind of stuff. So living in a lot of trees. He or she, I guess. I think the famous footage is supposed to be of a female Yeti, but yeah, so we've got plenty to go with in this regard. Let's see if that actually is. Oh no, I'm going to have to go around the whole item and see. I've left that.
Ronan has just joined us and is asking what we're doing. So we've just recapped, but I'll borrow what Steve has written above, which is a magical item based off Bigfoot / Yeti style cryptids and their powers. Just to catch it up.
Yeah, we're going to be making a few magic items as time goes on.
Good point. Yeah, cleaning the poncho would be pretty tricky. A lot of hair drying involved there.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I think it's maybe a dry clean only item.
Yeah, or maybe this is even an item that maybe that's part of the curse. Maybe that's why you start to smell more like the outdoors and smell a bit more like the Yetis that you're likely tracking down and things like that. It's your curse to live in the woods and rarely wash it and things.
Oh, I'm sorry, my mind's about is Nikolai. Were we saying Gabriel?
Gabriel, I believe. Yes.
Gabriel is saying, how about the Bigfoot is a temperate climate Yeti with a gaze that deals psychic damage.
Ooh.
And the big ones have a breath weapon that deals acid damage.
My goodness.
Or maybe the BW is a scream, so the thunder damage instead. BW?
I may be missing.
Breath weapon.
Breath weapon. Oh, yeah.
A bit slow.
My God, yeah, no, neither of us are on it.
Are we going for a high level magical item or something mid to low tier? Asks Speaker Majeeper.
I think mid to low tier, because you want someone to. This is a kind of character defining item, so you want to be able to wear it all the time without guilt, don't you? I think that would be quite fun.
Steve says apparently a lot of people who say that they saw Bigfoot mention trees falling in the forest.
Ooh.
Does this give you the strength bonus to checks involving shoving things around?
I definitely think so. I think if this operates a bit like a kind of cloak of giant strength type thing, I would be very satisfied with that. Maybe troll strength or something. I can't remember what it is. There's Gauntlets of Ogre Power, that's what it is. Maybe something akin to Gauntlets of Ogre Power would be very fun.
Aces, I feel like as well, also with the item, it makes people who see you, if they fail like a wisdom save, they become obsessed with trying to track you down.
Oh, interesting. Maybe that's...
They're back, sorry, but their phone was on the fritz.
That's quite alright, don't you worry. Good to see you. That's a
really
really cool idea. Yeah, I love that. I absolutely love that plan. Because we're almost done with this particular item. I'm looking forward to adding it to the collection. I think we've got time for at least one more item if it's that quick,
Suppose seeing a cryptid is a bit of a curse in itself. Like, for one thing, you know what you saw, but nobody.
Yeah, who else did?
Nobody's ever going to believe you.
Yeah, for sure. Let's do.
Have you asked if people have seen anything themselves?
You know what? I have not. I've totally neglected to do that. Have any of you seen any cryptids? I would love to know if we had a Yeti hunter or something in our midst.
Trimboot says mid-level over high level due to the negative curse.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, that's very cool. That's true.
Captain Dutchman says Yeti smells air. Yeah, that smells like my type.
Oh.
Steve Harrison, I quite like that idea of sort of localised and specific modify memory spell-like effect. That's pretty cool.
Definitely.
Emiliano says this oddly doesn't feel overpowered from how strange it is, because it's true. Bigfoot lore can change from place to place.
For sure.
No, people have not seen one. I mean, it's a big ask.
It is a big ask, yeah. For sure.
Have you ever seen anything particularly creepy?
I mean, I've seen myself when I wake up in the morning, but other than that... no.
We've just finished watching Midnight Mass, and I am so scared when they let Myrtle out at night that I'm going to see a couple of cat eyes looking back at me, because there are quite a lot of cats in the neighbourhood.
So good.
I think I will just drop dead of fright if I see that.
Yeah, any little reflective eyes. Right, okay, so let's say Bigfoot.
Emiliano says 18 strength blur cape sounds pretty nice.
Yeah.
So definitely forget its curse.
Yeah.
Yes, Laval says I've seen floaty balls of light which apparently are ball lightning, but fit the description of several yokai / will-o'-the-wisp.
Yeah,
that's really cool. I
that.
was listening to something about ball lightning recently, and the fact it can move through buildings.
Oh, well, that's cool. I didn't know that.
Pretty terrifying. But that's awesome. Paper My Jeepers says, what immediately comes to mind is advantage on stealth in forested environments. I like the blur idea, but I feel like that's a bit much, though I guess a curse balances it out. Lots of stealth bonuses, but attracts Yetis with string rates. Yeah,
yes.
I definitely feel like, you know, in children's cartoons when you know, like a character disguises himself, there's always like another of that species that's like, oh, hello.
Yes. Plus attracts.
Yeah. Steve Harrison says, I've seen in inverted commas a UFO. I'm a skeptic though, so I'm sure it could have been explained by something else. Not denying UFOs in general, just that I probably didn't really see one. It was something else. Yeah, I'm a bit like you. If I ever did see anything weird, I would be so like determined to find the rational explanation.
Yeah,
for
sure.
But sometimes
for
it's
sure.
stuff out there.
Yeah. Right.
Only Yetis can find you would be funny, says the Dutch.
Oh, that's kind of a cool idea. Actually, I do like that. So we've got our cloak on the go, our poncho, but we could very easily do another item in this time. And I want to know if we should do we've had Mothman Gauntlets that let you turn your hands into wings, turn your arms into wings so you can fly. We've had Mothman goggles that I believe it was like had a fear aura or something along those lines.
What, this is suggestions you've had tonight, or
this is suggestions we've had tonight.
Okay.
We've had the chupacabra jaw thing, which I really like the idea of, either doing a chupacabra jaw or doing like a kind of like Wolverine claws almost, that allow you to draw health from someone that you've attacked with them. We've had a few other things, but I want to know what you guys would like to see. I'm going to veto things like cloaks because we've got a cloak here. We've got
want to draw something a bit different.
Yeah, we want to draw something a bit different. So, what would you guys like to see?
So Gabriel says, could the Thunderbird be considered a cryptid? I actually don't know what a Thunderbird is.
It's sort of entrenched in mythology surrounding like rocks and rooks and massive birds. I think Native American mythology.
Right, because he says
literally called storms.
If yes, then how about the next item be Thunderbird related?
Mm-hmm.
Jaw claw combo.
Jaw claw combo. Yeah, I mean, why not? I could definitely do that.
Yeah. Let's give people a
few minutes.
Minute or two, because probably in the delay you've only just asked.
Yeah, that's true. Want. Yeah, absolutely. I'll start a new layer here and make sure that I save, so I'm not forgetting half of this stuff. New layer. Sketch part 2, because I don't know what I'm drawing yet.
Sandown clown cryptid hat, perhaps.
Someone mentioned the Sandown clown in the Discord, and I can't remember what it does, but I remember it being like a robot clown or something.
Steve says, I quite like the idea of a jaw-based item. It's a novel thing, not like another sword or gauntlet or something.
Yeah.
It's got uniqueness built in. I agree with that.
Cool.
The flying rod flute, a flute that can summon flying rods.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
Boots of the jackalope. That's
cool.
cool.
Boots of the jackalope. That's a cool idea.
I do love jackalopes.
Yeah.
Emiliano says, I know a story of the Thunderbird where it snatched up killer whales from a river and tossed them back into the ocean.
Ooh, interesting. That's very cool.
That is some bird then.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that, again, like that kind of came up when I was researching the rock or the rook, however you want to say it. That it was that they picked up elephants and things like that in their claws, and it's this. I feel like there probably was a bird that was, you know, that size back in some prehistoric time or something. It sounds, there's a lot of these very fascinating ideas.
The Sandown clown is a friend, says yes, Laval.
Oh yeah, you know what? I have my phone now. I can go and look at the Sandown clown.
Steve says, the Sandown clown, I remember going to the Isle of Wight as a kid, and there was a bunch of stuff about it there. Captain Dutchman says, I go for jaw, very curious about how it would look. Jeeper McCreeper says, I think it would be cool to do something from Middle Eastern folklore.
Ooh, interesting. That sounds very
suggestions?
Cool. I tell you what, when I get started on the jaw, because we had a few people talking about the Chupacabra jaw. Yeah, same.
How are you saying that word? Like a jaw that you attach to your face, or a jaw that you use as a weapon separately?
I'm thinking this is a helmet that either you use as a weapon, or when you make weapon attacks, you automatically draw health from people you attack while you're attuned to it. So either it somehow gives you that property. I'm going to go quite, beastly with it. So we'll see how it ends up going. But I'm going to make it a helmet with like the jaw being the most important feature of it.
You'll like this suggestion from me, right?
Yeah.
What about spring heel jack boots?
Yeah, spring heel jack boots. Yeah, definitely. I love spring heel jack. Where were we on that being a cryptid or not? Because I feel like but
no, I was voting no.
There was because someone got the definition of it, wasn't it? It was like
are like not people based.
Yeah.
And I know he has attributes that are not particularly human, but somehow he feels more like a person up to no good than.
What kind of
he feels a bit like in sort of Jack the Ripper, but folklore.
What kind of month-long challenge do I need to do to draw Spring Heel Jack? Basically, that's what I want to know.
Draw Jack every day.
Well, no, just like what kind of category does he fall into? Because I want to draw Spring Heel Jack, basically, and I want an excuse to do that. So. I mean, maybe I just need to do my own Monster Monday.
You could just do a live stream.
I could just do a live stream.
People would like to see a live stream. Spring Heel Jack has a flamethrower, says yes, Laval.
Oh my god.
Argentivus was a giant prehistoric bird.
Oh yeah.
That could be listed in the Thunderbird. This cloak reminds me of the scary movie Clown, where the clown suit turned you immortal.
Immortal?
Because it was a demon skin.
Very cool.
Josh Dober, there you go.
Yeah.
Josh Dober, do whatever the hell you like.
Yeah, maybe next year.
Gabriel says maybe the blood flies in your mouth and you drink it.
Blech.
Which,
I mean, if you're a vampire, that's great, but if you're a person, then that's just bloodborne pathogens. That's gross. But bravo for making something disgusting but brilliant.
There's a tube/material link between jaw and claws, which drains life force into the face.
Ooh. Goodness.
Alright, Ace has joined us on their computer next to their phone, just couldn't handle it.
So it is.
Right, what is
Glad you're here.
Scary movie Clown. Oh, Clown. I don't know that film, Clown. That's not the one with the comedian.
Are they talking about like the Scary Movie franchise? Or
no, the scary movie Clown capitalized.
Oh right, okay.
So I think that's
all I'm thinking of is Pennywise, but
no, there's this really horrible film with who's the British comedian? He has like ADD and he just jumps from one thing to the other on stage. He's got long dark hair. Apparently, used to ride a unicycle and stuff. Where he's just the only acting role I think he's ever done.
No way. Who is this guy? Not ringing bells.
I've seen him in a couple of years.
Yeah, I feel like I'll know exactly.
He plays a really horrific clown, but the movie was so.
It's not Lee Evans.
No. The movie was so terrible that we had to stop watching it.
Oh damn.
It's that bad. I will sit through a lot of crap, but anyway, back to the comments. Okay, it was one of the better horror movies. Yeah, it's definitely not the one I'm thinking of. Roommate says Jaws giving some great 40k orc armor vibes.
Yeah, exactly. That's 100% what I was thinking.
York says, now I'm trying to imagine what the chupacabra looks like.
Yeah.
Purely based on the jaw.
Yeah.
The helmet protects you from the disease.
Oh, okay. That's pretty cool.
Just wanted to say hi and send love, says Max.
Oh, thank you very much, Max.
Schluter, I think.
Max Schluter?
Schluter.
Yeah, one of my patrons.
I haven't been very active for the last few months. Just started a new job and moved house. I've been very busy. Congratulations on both. And don't worry, that is
great achievements.
Busy time doing either one of those things.
Yeah.
Let alone two.
Do not worry at all. But thank you very much for being here.
Sadly I have to go already. But have fun, guys.
We absolutely will, but we'll miss you.
Thanks, Max. Captain Dutchman says the curse can be as simple as blood frenzy or blood addiction. Addiction.
Grim.
Paper Mojiper says maybe it works a bit like the dampier bite. You gain a 1d6 or 1d8 piercing bite attack a number of times equal to your proficiency modifier.
Love it.
You can expend a charge to faint.
Is that?
I think that might be a typo. I don't know. Faints HP equal to damage dealt. Sorry if I garbled that, guys. Ross Noble, thank you, Steve.
Ross Noble was in a horror film.
Yes, and a really nasty one. I feel like we watched like one scene and it was like really, really disturbing in a crappy way though.
This does kind of ring a bell. Oh man, I've not heard from Ross Noble in a long time.
He's always got the names here.
My goodness, Ross Noble. I wonder what he's up to.
Yeah, we haven't seen him in a while,
Yeah.
Ace says, I still say a bleed effect would be cool, or even what if the item is cursed but can bestow a curse to make them become a chupacabra, or even a cannibalistic curse.
Absolutely, that sounds very cool. I definitely like it. Having a kind of vampirism effect is essential on this. I think getting a bite attack and then your attacks also have like a chance to heal you is a really good idea.
So Jermaine, in the film where a father finds a clown suit and can't take it off and slowly turns into the clown monster. my god, there was a Goosebumps book about that.
I was going to say Goosebumps. It sounds very Goosebumpsy.
Was it like something about a mask? It was a kind of mask.
The little green mask.
And then it stuck to their skin. I was so terrified of putting like latex masks on after that, reading that as a kid.
Yeah.
Okay, that might be added to our Halloween horror films.
Yeah, that sounds really cool.
We'll start watching soon.
Yeah.
Gabriel's asking what got you into D&D.
What got me into D&D? Well, kind of. I played it a bit when I was in school, and that was just, I did whatever my friends did. But I wasn't really like. I don't really count that as my kind of intro to D&D, really. Like, that was me becoming familiar with what D&D was, I guess, but I didn't actually get fully into D&D until after university, I think. And it was... I had an old friend who I no longer talk to, unfortunately, but they used to run D&D all the time, and very kindly... they were just kind of desperate to spend a bit more time with me, to be honest, and they were super obsessed with D&D, and they wrote I think it was like a superhero campaign, because I was like super into superheroes at the time, and were like, what's your ideal thing, what's your favourite superheroes and all this kind of stuff. Well, I'll show you how to make them and you can play this game. And I was just, I've been playing a lot of video games my whole life, and I love the role-playing side of it, but I'll be honest, I was very embarrassed. Like, I was kind of a very repressed young man in those days, and I was nervous of doing anything too social, but it really brought me out of my shell, and I think it was, realistically, it's the confidence that it gave me that made me a D&D player, rather than just someone who has experience to D&D. So I owe D&D the fact that I'm talking to you now, I guess. I mean, certainly over the fact that I wouldn't have a channel, but like also the fact that I probably wouldn't have been confident enough to embark on something like this, really. So yeah, just always loved fantasy stuff, but it was just the kindness of a friend that got me into D&D at that time, just the right time. What about you guys?
Okay, I'll catch you up on something. Yeah, Steve says he switched off because he killed a cat. I don't like movies where animals get done in. Yes.
Very fair. This seems... I
actually text my friend a warning about Midnight Mass as well. There's no spoilers, but there's a bit of an animal death.
Yeah, there is an animal death. It is very tragic.
But yeah, that's potentially where I switched off from that as well, to be honest.
Likely.
Okay, Emiliano says, or maybe if not a curse to eat dead things, maybe a curse to add teeth to the helmet from people or skeletons. Other people are skeletons. That's very cool. I like that a lot. Spring Heel Jack Autonom says me.
No.
Sounds like a great weapon for a blood hunter.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, Last Biscuit Corn has got to go.
Oh, well, thank you for being here, Last Biscuit Corn. I'm glad you could make it. Thank you very much.
Milano says, I just thought if the lower jaw of the helmet could be used as a gauntlet weapon.
Oh, right, okay. Yeah, that's cool. I like the sound of that too.
Steve says, I feel that, Josh. I've only ever been a DM, really, and it still terrifies me every time. Stage fright, maybe.
Yeah, it can totally happen.
Yeah. Gabriel says the dragons got me into it.
yeah, for sure. It was either going to be the dungeons or the dragons, statistically.
Yeah. There's such a skill in being a DM, though. There's so much to do it. There's a lot of like plates to spin at once.
Yeah. From
the very, very short session that I did once, I couldn't cope.
I think you did a really good job.
Thank you. That's a lot more than it deserved.
Yeah.
No, I thought that was my friend sending pictures of the puppy, but she said she'll send me them tomorrow.
I want pictures of a puppy, yeah.
So cute.
Yeah, how tiny wee was it? What we're talking here? Give me the details.
Yeah, it was like a good beanbag size. There was 5 of them there when we got there. The little one that I was like, if that one's not sold, it might be coming home with me, was incredibly shy.
Oh,
It
really?
took itself off to sit in the corner.
Oh.
But the mum was so desperate for attention.
Oh,
It was
bless her.
gorgeous. Yeah, really cute, really cute.
It's hard to resist. You did very well resisting buying a puppy.
Yeah. Side note, Jackapoos might be now my favourite.
Oh my god, really?
Yes, because they look like puppies forever.
Ah, I see.
Bramble's tiny and
Yeah.
is fully grown. She's pint size. She's lovely. Anyway, back to the D&D stream. Steve says, I got into D&D properly when I turned 40. My now ex-wife bought me the starter kit.
On the way.
Been running a game ever since. Before that, I had a few false starts. Yeah, it's finding the group and everything. That's
for
quite,
sure. That's definitely.
You've got to get that good group dynamic going.
Absolutely.
E.S. Laval says, my dad has been playing since first edition and got me into it. That's really nice.
That's really cool.
Yeah. Ace says, I have loved D&D since I was in my junior year of high school. I've always been a DM and only been a player 2 times in my entire time playing.
Get yourself some time as a player. Find yourself a second group maybe, or ask your pals to DM.
Oh, Captain Dutchman got into D&D thanks to Aldrin. It's been very fun so far.
Oh, that's so cool.
He says, I just love telling stories and nothing gets me jazzed more than seeing the looks on people's faces of inspiration, horror, surprise, sadness, all these emotions they show just give me joy and energy.
Oh, yeah, that's absolutely
the
true.
collective nature of it is so fun to have everyone pitch in to make a fantastic adventure.
Oh,
That's really
absolutely.
good.
You guys are the best. So wholesome, this whole community. It absolutely gives me life.
Peeper My Jeeper says 1d8 piercing bites, 1d4 plus 1 charges. When you take a bite using this helm against a creature, you can expend a charge to gain temporary HP equal to the piercing damage dealt.
Oh, I like the idea of that. Especially, I kind of like the idea of maybe it's like a monk's kind of offhand bonus attack type thing, and those are the things that give you your healing. That's a really nice idea.
Minring says, you know what cryptid would be a good familiar is Jeff the Mongoose. Does that mean something?
It does not, but maybe I've missed out on Jeff the Mongoose.
York's been on a break for a while.
Yeah, that's fair. There's a few
people or whatever's holding you back. I hope you find.
There's a patron of mine who I chat to in Australia who only plays in person, and Australia's been having a lot of kind of lockdown issues. Who that's very sad, but also if you know that online's not for you, then you know online's not for you. So fair dues, whatever keeps D&D alive for you, whether it's the promise of it coming back and you're excited about it, or if it's getting to play all the time, then fair dues. Personally, I definitely like playing in person a lot more, and I think that's going to kind of be my caveat in future. I don't think I really want to play online that urgently again, unless perhaps playing as as part of a group. If I don't think I want to write for online. Basically, I don't want to be the DM online anymore.
Right.
I think it's kind of my kind of deal. It's great. It's an absolutely amazing resource, but it's just not how my brain works. So
I'm curious if you guys have been playing online recently in the last year or so. Is there anything different that you do that you feel like adds something to the game by playing it online that you don't get in person? Is there extra elements that you can work into it?
Definitely.
It works, right. Emiliano says, it wasn't until community college I realised that stories were so similar or universal. I'm a terrible storyteller. I'm sure you're not.
I bet you're not. Besides, that's what modules are for. You can play the pre-written modules if you're not confident about your storytelling.
A says, well, am I just saying Am I seeing just a person head butting someone? Am I just seeing
yeah. Just the full-on head part.
Yeah. Wait. What if the helmet is alive?
Ooh.
Steve's really liking the helmet. He thinks it looks ace.
Thank you very much.
He says, same, we don't fancy online either in my group, but we've had a long break.
Yeah, very true.
That's a good point. Yes, Laval says, I played so much D&D during lockdown because everybody had so much free time.
That's a really good point, actually. True. Yeah, for sure.
Ollie Neal is back. Says, sorry, Leo's reading The Fellowship of the Ring.
Ooh.
And like a good chunk read per night. That's a pretty decent chunk since you said goodnight.
Also,
earlier,
Ollie's very young. I'm glad you're getting in on that. And also, let's be honest, any excuse to read through any of the Lord of the Rings books, like that's almost worth just having a child just to have an excuse to read some of the Lord of the Rings. My niece, when she's old enough to listen to me read her The Hobbit, is getting The Hobbit with voices every night. I'm very, very excited. That's just for me. Like, I'm gonna say that's for her, but I'll be honest, that's for me. So
yeah, my dad had a theory that kids couldn't couldn't follow a story at bedtime anyway, so he would like flick like 10 pages forward at once.
Yeah.
And be like, you're just tired. You're not understanding it. You need to go to sleep now.
I've heard of a dad online who switches, like he's Mexican, I think it is, and he switches the TV to Spanish when he wants his kids to go to sleep, and he's just like, you're just really tired, that's why you're not understanding that.
Okay, Gabriel says at 17 you can turn into blood and then you behave more like a water elemental.
Ooh, that's pretty cool. That's really, really cool.
That's cool. He's read The Hobbit twice.
He's read The Hobbit twice?
That's pretty impressive.
Oh my god.
I mean, I used to have a job designing prints based on The Hobbit, and I have never even read it once.
Have you not? No, oh, it's very cute.
I personally prefer it in person, but if it wasn't for online, I wouldn't have met some great people from other countries, from Norway to America. Sadly, time zones are still annoying.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's the thing. Like, I'd happily be a player with a group online, but I just I go so in depth with like map making and stuff that it's just really hard to it's much easier for me if I use kind of like modular dungeon tiles and stuff and physical assets that I have here. I think it's just I'm just bad at prepping for online stuff. So
he says, I've been playing online. I've had to really push myself to dip into my characters and really do that acting. I love trying my best as long as my players are also active. I feel that it takes a little more energy, but if everyone is invested online, it can be a good substitute until things can be brought back together.
Absolutely. Good.
I find it really hard to focus as a player for like 4 hours at a screen when we're doing it, whereas when we're in person, I find it much easier.
Yeah, for sure.
So I can get that energy thing. Expecting some great Gandalf cosplay while reading The Hobbit. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Leo insists on me doing the voices.
Oh hell, you got to do the voices. You got to do the voices.
Cute. Yes, Abel says yes. It's definitely harder to get into character online. Do you have a gnome in your world, by the way?
I have recently allowed gnomes into my game. I say recently, probably about a year ago. I allowed gnomes into my games because I could justify them through. I really like the representation of kind of gnome-like characters in the Guild Wars franchise. They have the Asura, and that's kind of. I kind of reflavored my gnomes to give them that kind of feeling about them, and also their technological advancement allowed for sky-based cities and subterranean cities and things like that. So it allowed me to do a bit more world building. I tend to avoid using them personally in game, but I made peace with them in my own capacity. We've not had a a gnome player so far, I don't think.
Just quickly say goodbye to Emiliano is off.
Thank you so much, Emiliano, for being here.
Awesome helmet, and I'm reminded of the Predator movie.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, yeah.
Steve says, I'm awful at voices at the moment. I can nail it in the car on my own though.
Oh.
I'm a bit with you. Like, I struggle to even do a variation of a Scottish accent, so... And I also made the mistake of going for a really gruff character voice once as well, and I just like ruined.
It was very cute though.
Ruined my vocal cords.
Yeah, that was a tough character to play.
Ollie says, I'm sad enough to have bought the Build-A-Bear Lord of the Rings collection.
Oh,
George
really?
fits the Gandalf hat, wig, beard thing, but I can never get a photo fast enough. Is George a child?
George is the younger child.
Oh, the younger one. Okay.
Yeah.
So I was just thinking quick movie. I was like, is it a child or is it a pet?
Yeah, no, we had both of them watching the stream earlier on.
Something against gnomes? To be fair, dwarves are killer. Yeah, man. Josh is a real thing about gnomes.
Yeah, so. I have an issue with gnome players, basically. But if you have the right players, then any species, any character is great. I just don't like competitive players, basically. And the tendency for gnome rogues to embody that.
Is it not really? They kind of don't like that enforced.
It's like
zany,
super enforced zany, and it's kind of stealing from other players, and just like I make my fun by being disruptive rather than cause troublemaking's okay. It's just like, if you only find enjoyment through making somebody else struggle, even if that's the DM, then that's not fun. That's not like team playing, in my opinion. That's being not a nice person, you know. I'm struggling with finding the right word here, guys. That's PG. you know where I'm at.
Oh dear. Dear, yeah. Bolt has just joined us.
Hello, nice to see you.
George is the almost 1-year-old.
Oh.
So that's cute. And I think Leo wants to be a zombie or a lich for Halloween.
Very cool. Thoroughly approve.
And I think new person in the comments.
Ooh.
El Squishy One.
El Squishy One definitely seems new.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you.
The helmet looks a bit like monstrous predators. Is that from the film?
Yeah.
Predators?
Is that Yorick asking that, by the way?
No, it's Gabriel.
Oh,
So that's the name of monstrous
I think
Yoja.
I don't know. But yes, that. Yeah, definitely. I know that chupacabras are supposed to have like these long spines and needles on their back, so definitely some predator-like themes needed to be involved in this. So I'm just going to stick a new layer on here and quickly write a couple of notes on what we had. So this is when I realised I can't spell chupacabra.
Steve says 100% agree, don't mind in character friction in the party, actual people getting up each other's noses is a no-no for me.
Yeah, for sure.
Bolt says, do you know what kinders are from old 3rd edition, I think.
Kinder, as in like children?
I don't know. There's no Bolt. Minring says, man, you would hate kinder, so I'm guessing that's maybe like a warky gnome thing, maybe. Captain Dutchman says, sounds like a friend in my current campaign. He talks a lot about a deep gnome character or something.
Right.
He's been known for wanting to make OP characters.
That's definitely not.
So Bolt is saying it agreed to Moonring. They embody everything he just said he hated. So kinders, he'll need to look them up and ban them.
Yeah, forever ban those. Yeah. Heal you. And there was something else that this did. So it does a healing bitey thing. Oh yeah, and just normal healing plus normal weapon damage, heals. I'll work out the fine details of that at some other point.
Kinder are like gnomes except 100% worse.
Oh my god, how? How do you get Gnome 2.0? Right, I think we have time for one more item if it's as quick. And I'm thinking like a gauntlet of some kind, a glove. So what do you guys think would suit a gauntlet or a glove that is the triptych in our set of cryptid-based items?
Okay, Steve. I think the sentence in itself will annoy you.
Yeah.
Kinder, chaotic, stupid hobbits with terminally sticky fingers, like having an irritating "I robbed the other player's herder" type as an inbuilt character trait. Dragonlance, I believe.
Yeah, banned forever. Banned forever. That sounds like my absolute nightmare.
Yeah,
it's,
in Dragonlance. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, right. Let's give everyone a couple of seconds just to come up with the gauntlet ideas.
Yeah. Gauntlet, bracer, glove, that kind of thing. I think we're missing something hand-based. We've not got enough time for a whole suit of armor type deal, so I think definitely keep it to the arm or hand kind of area, wrists and things like that. What could it do, and how is it cryptid related? But otherwise, I'm liking this. In general, we could make a whole outfit. Someone could attune to all of these and get some pretty wicked stuff going on.
Okay, Wendigo talons or Mothman bracers.
Oh yeah, someone did say Mothman bracers.
Gauntlets, Jeff the Mongoose gloves. You're gonna have to
you're gonna have to expand on Jeff the Mongoose.
Yeah. Mongooses. Arm blades or belts, as Captain Dutchman.
Oh, belt! Yeah, I hadn't done a belt. Yeah, that's cool. I hadn't done a belt in a while.
Oh, excuse me.
No worries.
Oh my god, I've been driving for like 6 hours.
You want to go and get yourself some dinner and like chill out when we find out what's going on? I can start doing that. Yeah.
Okay. Capturing device or identifying device.
Oh, that's cool.
What about Nessie water breathing features or skills to add to armor?
That's cool. If it was a whole suit of armor, for sure. But then that's just kind of is it Nautilus armor that allows you to breathe underwater? It's very cool.
Auto skinning glove.
Auto skinning glove. That sounds like Freddy Krueger gloves basically.
So apparently Jeff the Mongoose is an invisible mongoose with human hands and can talk.
That sounds horrific. I've never heard of. I'm going to Google Jeff the Mongoose and see if that's.
Is this just a Min Ring thing, or is this a general thing? Min Ring, you need to let us know.
It's not coming up when I. Jeff the Mongoose is a real thing. Oh, it's spelled G-E-F. I was like Jeff, like Jeffrey. Jeff the Mongoose. Yeah, there it is. An extra clever mongoose, earthbound spirit, with human hands. There it is. It's hard to make gauntlets of, because human hand is just a hand, unless you originally had claws.
Steve says, I'm dressing up as the big bad for our Halloween game, and I've got these absolutely sick articulated gloves that extend the fingers out to almost a foot length for each finger. They're awesome.
That's so cool. Are you going to be a bone claw? Because that sounds like a bone claw.
Something about like extra long fingers that are just so creepy.
Yeah, for sure. I might try and dress up in a Halloween costume for our next stream on the 27th out of interest.
York says clawed gloves made from the beast Javadan.
Oh, Beast of Javadan. Yeah, you mentioned that the other day.
Wear hyena gloves. You gain proficiency in 10 tools. You gain the channel divinity of the forge cleric. A bone extractor. It leaves the skin and organs, just takes the bones.
Oh my god.
A Nessie belt that allows you to spell Misty Step.
Oh, yeah.
As well, missed it. The resistance and fire damage, but you gain the Were Hyena curse. That's continuing on from the one above. Sorry.
That's cool.
Keeping with the predator theme, the double blades that kind of pop out of their wrist guards / gauntlets.
Very cool. I like the sound of that a lot.
The gloves would make your hands invisible. Oh, right. For Jeff the Mongoose.
I'm with you. That seems very Phantom Limb. I like it.
There's a lot of love for Steve's extended finger gloves.
That's very, very cool. That's very cool.
Ace likes the arm blades. Okay, Trashy Worm says the Mokele Wembe wrist whip.
Malakimembe, I think, or something like that. It's a brachiosaur that's supposed to be in Africa.
Just like a big dino tail on your arm.
That's pretty cool, actually. I think you know what? I think we should do. I've heard Mothman Gauntlets a few times, right? Why don't we try and tie the Mothman Gauntlets into the like stabby arm gauntlets that are getting a lot of love in the comments? So it can either be used as like a slashing gauntlet type thing, or you can turn your arms into wings to fly, but you can't do both. So your arms are either wings or slashy things, and you have to kind of decide what's more advantageous for you. Seems like an interesting idea, perhaps. So maybe they're gauntlets that have this kind of retractable claw for combat, and they let you do moth-based damage, unless there's...
Sorry, just one additional thing.
Yes.
I love this suggestion.
Yeah.
The squishy one is on it. One really long razor sharp finger, like an evil eye. I was obsessed with eyes when I first found out about
That's
them.
very cool. It's not very cryptid.
That's true.
But next time we have a magic item workshop that's not cryptid related, bring that suggestion back up, because I so want to do that. That sounds really cool.
People are liking your suggestion. Sold, go for it. Joshua Genius.
Thank you very much.
Your legs claws.
That seems like it. Yeah, seems smart.
Wing gauntlets mixed with the tarsal claw.
Yeah, I think I know what that is. Like, you know when your brain is just like, yeah, that seems right.
You're like, yes, I know that word.
Yes, I do.
It's related to this topic, but I can't quite recall.
Just like, I think I know what that is. And my brain's just going, yeah, cool. You got this. You know, let's not do any more work than that. Oh, dear.
Yeah, you're drawing on the spot as well. You've got a good excuse. Yeah. I'm just reading it.
Don't you worry about it. Don't you worry about it.
If you know what you're doing,
yes, I do.
I am going to go and get myself some dinner.
Please do. Go and enjoy, and I will Mothman Gauntlet it up.
Yes, Laval's off. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for being here. Lovely to see you. Let's go for a little bit of that, and we'll go, because it's quite avian, the old moth boy. Let's go for. You know what, I think, because they're talons, they need to kind of come out a bit like hooks, I think. Let's have some wolverine claws that come out a bit like hooks. Let's say that's sickle-like enough. Does anyone else think, and it upsets me how little damage sickles do in D&D. I think they're great, and logically they come from a place of D&D's like past, I think, where it's like things need to be realistic rather than cool. But the rule of cool is more important, in my opinion, at least. And I think the sickle deserves to do at least the same damage as a sword. Well, no, not at least. It needs to do the same damage as a sword rather than just 1d4 slashing damage. Because, yeah, it's a farmer's tool. It's not supposed to be used in combat. I get it. But it's cool, and druids should just be able to use a fun, unique sounding sword, basically. But, yeah, let me know if you disagree. I'm going need to move that up a bit. There we go. It's not very stealthy, but it does look very sharp. There you go. Merge that bad boy down. Merge down. There we go. And then we can. So we want to have sickle details along here, and those, I think, where do they retract from? I think they are going to go up here. They're going to be very hard to hide, aren't they? Maybe they magically poof out some smoke. You know what? Maybe they shouldn't be hooks. Maybe they shouldn't be hooks, so they could be more hidden bladey. Yeah, I've gone too Warcraft with it. Those need to be more hidden. Let's back to the drawing board on those. They're cool. They looked cool, but they're not very hidden blade-like, are they? So let's give it another go. And we can have them sort of appear out of here. We can still have them a tiny bit curved, but probably not as much as they were. They should come out over the top here. There we go. Oh, and they could be the little red bits, maybe. Maybe that's how that works. So could be the little Mothman like eyes, and then I think we should have like little feather details maybe up here. Up to about this point. And then we can have the gauntlets be like this, and have some little Mothman eye, like a little nod to some Mothman eyes, and have that go like this. I think that'll look a little bit more avian. Yeah, that seems good. And yeah, I think that's looking pretty cool. And it could be like almost literal feathers. Would be quite fun. Yeah, cool. Okay, that's cool. I like that. We can start with that and then work our way around. So let's go for moving that over here. I know it's a bit messy, but you know, I can see it. You know, so we'll go from there. Layer, new layer, Mothman lines. We'll make a little group here for Mothman Gauntlets. And I'll make sure to save. So there we go. Yeah, it seems cool. So yeah, either that's why it looks so weird, because I was using my inking brush instead of my other brush. Whoops, guys. Can't always do it right. But I like the idea of Wolverine style gloves being a part of this, no, Wolverine claws being a part of this creature, being a part of this glove. And flight you have to activate. a little bit like Mothman. There. There we go. Nice little homage to Mothboy himself. Yeah, these all seem like, I'm comfortable with these items so far. They seem like items that I genuinely use in game. And wouldn't feel like I was kind of breaking it, you know? Okay. I love drawing gauntlets. I don't know why particularly. They're just fun to draw. I think it's something about articulated armour. It's like a nice thing to draw. You can think about how it might move. It's always a bit of fun. This could be our little Mothman arms. Mothman eyes even. Words. I'm glad the stream is wrapping up with this item, because I can already tell my language skills are starting to go. Still got a little while until this drawing's done, but I'm glad this will be the last one, as my ability to speak is apparently dwindling. Nice little Mothman part there. There we go, little feathers. Hear Myrtle quietly snoring away next to me, and it's very hard not to get sleepy when she does that. It's very, whether she just sort of like tricked me into that kind of sensibility, because she always falls asleep on my lap, and even at night she is my little nap companion who will fall asleep on my lap while I'm trying to fall asleep. So I think that just triggers my bedtime response, you know? She snores in a very cute way as well, which is nice. Unless she's really going for it, in which case that would keep you up for days. She's very sweet. How many fingers have I done? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that's all the fingers. Good-o. Okay. Maybe I need to do that. No. Yeah, actually those do need to be connected somehow. So we'll do some little chainmail bits, I think. In the shape of little feathers. Little scale mail, maybe. Otherwise they're rings, not parts of a glove. There we go. And we need to have this extend back the way to here. Oh, Myrtle. I can hear you, Belle. Okay, you can have little Mothman eyes here as well. There's a little nod. Some feathers. is up here. Good old moth boy. Couple more to go. And then after this, it's we've got the Not Deer, I think, is the next Monster Monday. Goodness me, someone's very much compensating for something with that motorbike. Sorry about that, guys. But yeah, we've got the Not Deer coming up soon, and then after that is the Bunyip. I believe. I think that's the order of things. Can't totally remember, but I'm excited for them both. They are now all drawn, at least. All drawn, recorded, and just in the process of being edited. So we're very excited about those. That'll be very cool. Let's do that. There we go. I can get rid of that sketch there now. And I can get... Can't tell, but I reckon Aldrin's probably in the chat now because she is definitely making a lot of snoring and snuffling noises, which is usually his cue. Favourites. Big wide softy. It's not me just talking about Myrtle or myself. It's a good brush. Okay, get some of these feathers to have some more defined purpose is the wrong word, defined just edges and stuff. I'm talking nonsense. There we go. A bit more dark, and we'll put a bit more light to kind of contrast that before we move on to the colour layer. It's making some very sweet noises over there. It's a very happy girl. We got her, and I say a new bed. We got her a replica of the bed that she had growing up, but when she was a puppy she absolutely destroyed it, so we got it like one size larger just the other day, and she's really enjoying that bed, so she's snoozing away quite happily in there. Little sweet potato. Oh, not quite perfect. I've not closed some of my lines over here. What am I missing? Aha, I see you. I see you, little gap. Little gap in my line work. There you go, hopefully that's it. Ha 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 ha, it is. I think we can get some of these other little ones as well. Maybe. There we go. That's all I wanted to get. There we go. This is an empty gauntlet. There we go. Get some colours on there. And I think what I want to do is make not necessarily entirely black, but a very rich grey colour for the most part, and then maybe have some more kind of crow-like, kind of oil spill-like feathers as they go up. So I think we can do that with a nice kind of Gaussian blur on some It's a nice dotty kind of concept brush that I have. I like to use for things like dragon scales. Where are you, my friend? Where are you, my little dotty one? Splotch filler, yes, that's you. Let's go for a nice kind of green colour. I promise this will look good. And I'm done. A bit of purple in here. And then tie it up with a bit of black. Or something close to black. And we can blur, Gaussian blur. Go. That's sort of what I envisioned. And then we can go in here and get some of these little details and pick some of these out. And to be honest, I don't want to highlight too much of them. I think I just want to do some bright red that we could have glowing through here. Would be quite nice. Maybe not necessarily actually glowing, but having a little nod here and there. And have these daggers be maybe like a nice bone colour for some highlight differences. Exactly, Myrtle. I agree. Right. That's a nice bone colour. There we go. Don't know if these would be bone or metal or what. Probably metal, but I feel like bone's going to be a better contrast against all that black and grey visually. There we go. Let's see what we can do in terms of homogenizing some of these colours a tiny bit. See if oh, that looks nice. That's nice. Stick with that kind of thing, I think. We can go for a multiply layer, change this grayscale a bit. Colorize that. Perfect. Gotta love a purple, I always do. And turn this into an overlay, so those pick up some of the nice colours. And finally, I think what we'll do is a new layer. Might maybe make this bit over here. Into a nice bright red. Kind of minimize that slightly so we can pick up the red maybe. Oh, perfect. There you go. And that's my little Mothman Gauntlets, I think. So let's just actually write a few notes on this. Before we do that, actually, I just want to see what the line work would look like if I inverted the colours on that. Much easier to stand out, much easier to see. Nah, you know what, we'll keep it black. Keep it black, I think that's one of the mistakes I made earlier on. So let's go for nice red colour. We have Mothman, Gauntlets. So hidden blades. I feel like dark vision is essential because I think that's like, it's not much of an ask really, because most species have dark vision. And then can transform arms into wings, but obs don't have stabby arms no more. There we go. That's just a note for me. Perfect. Okay, well, I think that's us, guys. I think that's going to be 3 nice cryptid-based tools, weapons, pieces of armor, whatever you want to call it, that you can use in your campaigns. I'm going to write up stats for those. I am going to go back through all the live streams that I've missed putting up creatures and stats and things for. It's just been a bit busy recently. So I'm hoping that I can do that towards the end of October and start of November. But in the meantime, thank you so much for joining us and for being here and for contributing to these amazing items. That was so fun. Thank you for being wonderful people, just to be around and hear your stories and for enjoying the work that I do. You're absolutely a really wonderful community, so thank you very much. Thank you for putting up with the weird start that we had earlier on when Yvonne wasn't here and I couldn't really hear what you guys were saying that easily, or I was getting a bit distracted between reading versus drawing and stuff. So it was a little bit of a slower start, but I'm glad we did it. I'm glad we've made all this amazing stuff that hopefully will be in your campaign soon enough. So you can embody Bigfoot, the Chupacabra, or Mothman, or maybe all 3 if you attune to them and things like that. But yeah, thank you so much, and I can't wait for you guys to see the Not Deer, I believe it is next week's video. So until then, have a wonderful time, have wonderful adventures, and happy cryptid hunting. I can't wait to talk to you soon. Bye.